You might be thinking, does it kind of go against the core concept of a special edition multiverse episode if most of the characters are indeed from the same verse? And you'd be wrong. Hello, Intrepid Heroes! I'm Lazuli, and today I want to talk about Dimension 20's Gauntlet at the Garden. They are doing a show in Madison fucking Square Garden, you guys. Can you fucking believe it? Oh my god. Okay, so the formula for this is that they draw the characters randomly. It could be any character from any Intrepid Hero season. This show is going to be a bit different because we're in New York. We're going to be in Madison Square Garden. They've settled on the Unsleeping City as the setting already, so we're not randomly drawing for that. And I'm excited that we have a setting in mind already because I think it'll be less strain. It'll make for a more grounded story if we have at least one sort of control element here. We know it's going to be taking place in the Unsleeping City, so we know what kind of environment the characters are going to be placed into. I would imagine, even though most of it's improvised, they will probably be going into it with some ideas of how certain characters would react to the Unsleeping City and all this sort of stimuli there. So that'll be interesting. And I want to come up with my dream lineup, right? If I got to pick which characters are going to be guaranteed to be in this show, this is who I want to cast. The main qualities that I'm looking for are high energy, powerhouse characters, some troublemakers, at least one sort of grounding presence. If I were really doing a true draft, I would probably put a bit more thought into party balance, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about that here. I don't care, it's gonna be random anyway, and I like who I like, and I wanna see who I want together, so. We're gonna start with Allie. The Allie character that I want to see on stage is Pete Conlon. Now, I think Pete is a great choice because he's got a connection to the city. He'll be a good guide character for some of the other cast because he's familiar with the setting. He's very powerful. He can be a bit chaotic, to say the least, but he's also capable of locking in. He's got so much going on, but he's really doing his best to like better himself and get a handle on the chaos and lets it out at kind of the opportune times. And especially for a live show, I mean, we're gonna be doing like balls to the wall crazy just for fun. So I think I really want to see Pete. I think he's a great anchor point for the cast. For Murph has so many good characters, but I think in the Unsleeping City, I just want to see him play Cugrash. I'm sorry, maybe that's the obvious choice here, but I really think Cugrash is a good pick. He's funny, he's got a lot of in-world connections, he's got a home turf advantage because he knows the lay of the land, and so I'm sort of casting him as like, he's the steady presence here, which it's kind of hilarious to me that the dancing rat man is the grounding presence of the group, but that's kind of the role that I'm casting him in here. The perfect amount of hijinks and stability. I want Cugrash. For Siobhan, I've decided I want to see one Miss Adine Abernan. So Adine, you would think, kind of plays the straight man role, but I think she also has a tendency to escalate things in a way that's really funny, to see a character that's so like straight-laced really go off the deep end and just do whatever. She's incredibly powerful and I love to see her powers at work. I think also a lot of the Fantasy High characters would translate pretty seamlessly into the Unsleeping City setting because they're sort of used to that blend of modernization but also really strange, weird beings also being present. It would be nice to see her there. Like I'm kind of getting like Halloween Town 4 energy where you go to like a magic university. I don't know why that's like that idea stuck in my head. A spin-off of Adine like going to university in the Unsleeping City and all like the weirdness there. I think she would do remarkably well, but I love Adine very much and I really want to see her here. For Emily, I settled on Figure Fair. I was so like kind of heartbroken and like on the edge of my seat when they said that Emily very nearly did not play Fig again for junior year. I know she kind of is like leaning towards retiring the character. I kind of hope she doesn't if they do senior year, which I think they will. Anyway, that's not the point. I love Fig very much. Again, another very powerful character.
Just wait till I cry. I gotta say.
She is my favorite Emily character. This is like prime top tier chaos goblin energy. I'm definitely casting her in my troublemakers column. She's incredibly charismatic. She just got herself attached to this brand new deity that she's drawing power from. I think she is one of the characters that would be the most adaptable as far as interacting with the Unsleeping City environment in like a cool way. So I need to see her. Also, I just miss her. I don't know. Okay, Zach is next. I've settled on Skip. I want to hear Zach do the voice.
Oh. Can I tell you your problem? I'm like a loaded, like family dynamic.
Oh yeah. He's really funny. I think he's comedy gold. He's got a real innocence about him and like this sort of raw like sense of adventure where he's kind of up for anything and will truly co-sign anything that anyone says, which I think there's a lot of opportunity there in this group of people who are willing to say wild things without really thinking about the consequences of them. When you pair him with other people is you know, ripe for really interesting dynamic, and he's adaptable, right? He's still kind of learning things, and they get to decide at what point in the story their character's coming from. So it would be interesting if we're picking a Skip that has like seen more development and he's learned a lot more, or if we're picking him earlier on or at any sort of midpoint in Starstruck where he's still kind of doesn't really know what's going on or like how to be a human being. So that's Zach. For Lou, I've settled on Pinocchio. I want to hear Lou do the voice.
He's eating everybody up. We barely got out of there, I'll tell you. I mean, I know I sound cavalier about it now.
I love Pinocchio. Pinocchio is hysterical to me. When I asked for high energy and troublemaker, I'm like, I think he fits the bill perfectly, and I think has some fun, like lucid moments where he's kind of cutting through the noise. But typically he is the one making the most noise and is really riling everybody up.
All right.
He's just so funny to me. Like, he's a disaster of a little boy. He's not afraid to stir some shit up, and I want to see that. He's another one where I'm like unleashing him in the Unsleeping City. Like, the idea of Pinocchio just like running around New York is alarming in a way that is attractive to me. That's what I want to see. Oh my god, the spin-off Adine and Pinocchio take New York. I don't even know what the fuck that would look like, but I suddenly really need it. The idea of Fig and Pinocchio being like the devil on the shoulder of Skip, just encouraging him to do God knows what. I mean, what a disaster, right? All the more reason to make it happen. I think that truly is my ideal mix. That is my ideal cast of characters.
A bunch of hot bitches with cool powers.
We can all agree that I've just made perfect choices and that would be a really entertaining show. But I also did a second draft. So here's my secondary lineup of ideal character. For Allie, Liam. He's such a sweetheart and he's also just like so funny and kind of hopeless. I don't know what point in the timeline we'd be picking for him, if Preston is still around or no. It would be nice to see Preston.
What happened to Liam? Someone killed my best friend.
Jesus.
For 10 years, I only had one friend.
Liam is violent now.
This poor hardened soul of a candy man. Liam was a really fun character to watch in Crown of Candy, to see his development and turn from hopeless, like uncomfortable, clueless little boy to I am vengeance.
Liam has gone full Peppermint Batman and...
For Murph, for my secondary pick, Riz is my favorite Murph character probably ever. Riz is really fun. He's incredibly smart. He would be like the most dedicated to getting down to the bottom of things as far as whatever mission they're going to be tasked with resolving. He can be dropped into any setting and adapt really well because he's very goal oriented. So that's Riz. For Siobhan, my secondary pick is Misty. Misty's incredible. Again, this will be a home turf character. She's a showboat. She's got that boisterous energy that I'm looking for. Not exactly boisterous, but just sort of suave and charming. Confident and knows exactly what's going on. Again, another very well-connected character who would know and have a lot of connections with other characters in the setting if they needed to call upon somebody for help. And she's so fun. I love Siobhan. Clearly has so much fun playing her.
Yeah, no, my shoes technically still belong to Tanya.
She's gonna kill you.
Only if she can get here and I have her goddamn shoes.
So I would love to see Misty again. For Emily, my second draft pick is gonna be Saccharina Frostwhip, baby. Now my girl Saccharina gets a bad rep, but I love her. Not only she's incredibly powerful, but I think she would be somebody cast in maybe the grounding presence role. We never really got to see her let loose comedically and like let loose personality wise, because you know, maybe just because everybody was being really mean to her, understandably, but also like lay off a little bit. Yeah, she was introduced under some rough circumstances, so it would be nice to see her just kind of get to be around people that are like being crazy and we're just doing, I don't know, we're just having fun for the sake of having fun. And she's very powerful and is a great ally to truly any team. So I want to get to see her being happy. That's awful, but I want to see more from that character. My secondary pick for Zach is Lapan. I loved Lapan. I really enjoyed him. I think he would be funny to add to the group just because he has like typically like a more dry sense of humor than I think really any of the other characters. A little bit like snooty and has just sort of like a general disdain for whatever's going on around him. Did you have any dreams, Lapan?
We're all going to die. Unless you listen to me right now. We are all going to die.
But he's also incredibly loyal and he's a great ally. I think he's a great choice. So yeah, Lapan. My secondary choice for Lou is gonna be my man Fabian. Fabian is maybe my favorite Lou character. He's, again, high energy, troublemaker in that sort of category. But he's also like developed a lot and like grown as a character. It'd be fun to see which point in time Lou would pick for him to join, if he would be sort of more developed or if he would be his typical chaotic self.
I'm gonna sneak into his room tonight and give him a vasectomy.
But I really like Fabian. Obviously, we've seen something about when Lou taps into Fabian's character, he's really just willing to go all out and he's not afraid to make the strange choice.
All right, everyone, follow me. We're gonna jump on him and then we're gonna murder him.
And I think he would do well in the Unsleeping City, you know, he's seen a lot. Fabian, I think Fabian would be great. That kind of rounds out the secondary draft picks.
Say it one more time just because I liked it so much.
Hot bitches with cool powers.
Yeah.
You'll notice I have sort of a bias towards Fantasy High and Crown of Candy, and you might be thinking, does it kind of go against the core concept of a special edition multiverse episode if most of the characters are indeed from the same verse? And you'd be wrong, and it's perfect. Actually, it makes perfect sense. And make your own list. It is drawn randomly, so in all likelihood I might not get any of the picks, and I'm for sure not going to get exactly what I'm asking for here, and maybe that's for the best. But this is what I'd want to see. Some of these characters are cool and I love them, but they make the most sense in their original setting, and the most entertaining part about them is how they play off of their original environment and the characters and the NPCs there. So they're not the most entertaining if you put them with like a random bunch of people. For example, Mother Goose. Mother Goose was fun to watch in Never After, but it's like, does he really make sense to just be thrown into something randomly? Not really. Like Marge, I think would be really cool to see in the Unsleeping City, but most of her connections and like assets are tied to Starstruck. Like how much is she going to be able to contribute? So it's with that in mind. They're all fish out of water, which is what's making it engaging and interesting and new to watch. That being said, I think it's almost as funny if everyone is at home and going about their business and then one random man drops in. In an adventure party, they talked about like the concept of the singular human being in a Muppets movie. Like if it's just the cast of the Unsleeping City and then Pinocchio jumps in, to be honest, like would they even flinch? Regardless of what characters get drawn and picked, they're gonna make a great show. I've had a lot of fun with the two that they've put out already, and I know that they're putting out some more throughout December. I'm sure the show's gonna be great, and I will be happy with any picks that we get. But if we could get mine, if we could ensure that mine were picked, that would also be great and fun. I'd be appreciative. Because we know the setting in advance this time, the premise of the one-shot will probably be a little bit more fleshed out, and we have a set track to send these characters down, and then they'll just kind of create their own like hijinks. I think the idea of like an official draft would be kind of cool. Like a true true Dimension 20 draft of like the most powerful characters. That could be a lot of fun to see at some point. I'm keeping this contained to just this show. I thought about really going off the hinges and picking like my own setting and whatnot, but there will be plenty of time for us to see like a variety of things. They just announced like so many new live shows. They're doing one in Seattle, we're doing Las Vegas, like there's going to be a lot of opportunity to see a bunch of different versions, and I'm really excited to see how far they can take this. I mean, it doesn't get any farther than Madison fucking Square Garden. So, you know, we're really starting at a high point, I think. I'm toying with the idea of a little like Boongo board moment. I don't know if I would actually like print one out and have one. I feel like that would be kind of cumbersome. But I'll be playing along in my head. If you have any prompts for Boongo, we can like play together. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you're going to Gauntlet at the Garden or any of the future live shows, let me know what your ideal lineup would look like for any of those shows, or let me know your favorite Dimension 20 season. And can I just gush for a second? I know I sound cavalier about it now, but truly it is mind-boggling to me to see a show in Madison Square Garden. I'm gonna watch some people play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that is insane and it's unfathomable. I don't even know what to make of this. It's so cool to be a part of this. This is part of why I was like, I need to go. It's also around my birthday, so I was like, okay, I have to do something for my birthday. This is the perfect excuse. I'm gonna go to New York and I'm gonna see all these people. But it truly, part of why I jumped on this opportunity is because it just feels historic, you know? This is not a completely new concept. I mean, we've seen Critical Role kind of like pioneering things a little bit as far as expanding D&D into new mediums, and especially like for a specific actual play group to transition to a live show. But this Madison Square Garden, like, this really is the first of its kind. I mean, this is historic and really cool, a really cool piece of nerdy history, and I can't wait to be a part of it. It's strange, maybe a bit parasocial, to be proud of people that I've never interacted with. I don't know. It really is cool to see how this company has rebuilt itself and how they've really doubled down on putting their faith in their people and trusting each other's talent and working and collaborating together. It's really admirable. If you're still watching this and you're somehow not tired of hearing me talk, consider watching my last video. I made a video about The Bear Season 3 and I talked for about an hour, so there's a lot more of that if that's what you're into. Follow my Twitter, follow my Letterboxd, and yeah, I think that's all I have, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Lazuli, and this has been Nixnash. See you in the stars. If anybody from the Dropout store is listening, would you be willing to bring back the Fig and the Sig Figs t-shirt? Because that was sitting in my cart for a while, but I was really broke, and then by the time I had money, it was gone. If you have one that you'd be willing to part with, I would love you forever. Or if anyone from the Dropout store is listening and you feel like bringing that design back, there is a demand of at least one.